my boss here, where he graduated as top of his class actually in civil engineering. And currently, he works at the intersection of AI and structural engineering. He has experience in machine learning. That one I can vouch for that, in data science and engineering research. And beyond research, he still leads and contributes to initiatives that focuses on mentorship, on research, training, and graduate school access for African students. And he also contributes to technology and innovation generally in the industry. So today we are going to be learning from Yusuf what influenced his decision like to go for masters. Also, we also have Temitope Orokpo, which is a PhD candidate. She's a PhD candidate in chemistry at Purdue University. She has experience in medicinal and bioinorganic chemistry. Currently, her work focuses on studying non-ribosomal peptide. And yeah, and she uses chemical biology to like better understand natural products, biosynthesis. Okay, our slides are up. Oh, okay. Thank you. She's also actively involved in graduate students leadership, students outreach and mentorship. And also she serves in roles that support professional development, student engagement, and representation. So today we'll be learning from both of them. I think we can go to the second slide so that we just go to the ground rules to ensure that this session goes well. Okay, we'll just go to some of the ground rules quickly. So we would love that we are all respectful to everyone in the session. We should make sure that our comments or whatever we say are not offensive. And also we love that you keep your microphone muted unless you want to speak or you want to ask a question. And also we encourage that you share your thoughts. If you have questions, please, we would love to hear them. And we also love that we all speak one at a time. You don't want to like interrupt. If you need to speak, please, you can raise up your hand. And also let's keep discussion focused on machine learning, please, on AI and the topics of the agenda. Let's not talk about the World Cup, please. You know it's coming, but it's not what we want to talk about here. And also let's avoid spamming the chat with irrelevant links, advertisements. I don't know if maybe someone wants to share money, they can ask my account number. Well, let's keep everything on AI. You might want to send money for me to learn more AI, so that's also welcome. And let's make sure that we are connected so that we get the best of the session. And let us have fun and enjoy the session. And also connect with the rest of the community. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, about machine learning in Lagos community. This community is committed to enhancing building a collaborative environment focused on building, exploring, and advancing knowledge of latest developments in AI. Contributions and insights are welcomed across various sources, but primarily we are focused on leveraging and learning Google's AI products, as we are a Google affiliated community. So if you want to learn more about the community, I think we have some links afterwards that you can go check out. And we have like a WhatsApp channel also that you could become a part of. The next slide, please. Okay, let's quickly go through what we offer as a community. So we have technical events and workshops. We have monthly technical sessions to learn machine learning and AI concepts. We have study groups for those that want to learn different areas of ML or AI. And also there are reward projects that you can work on. We have opportunities to work on practical projects and contribute to open source initiative. I believe most of us know what open source mean. So if you want to like contribute to open source, you also have those opportunities. We have networking opportunities. We have people that are like bosses here in AI. We have people that have that have experience that you can learn from. And also you can showcase your talents, papers that you have worked on or personal projects, and also have access to resources to like aid your learning. Um, okay, next one. So our agenda, I believe we have had the welcome. I want to start the grad school series session, and then we are going to have a Q&A, and then any announcement, and then wrap up. Next slide, please. Okay, I think we spoke about this already. Our wonderful panelists, Yusuf and Temitope. So we can just, the topic here is the grad school decision. So we want to understand why they made the decision to go to grad school and why they chose the paths that they have chosen. So let's all be ready to learn. Yeah, we can move on to the next slide. I think we don't, okay, we can move on to the next slide. I think this has been spoken about before. I think this is me. I believe so. They said I graduated in first class in computer science. We'll have to confirm. And they said I'm a CMU. Yeah, that's true. I'm a graduate research assistant here in CMU. I specialize in deep, uh, yeah, computer vision. Those are things that interest me. I think this is the least impressive bio here. Let's move on to the next one, please. Now, let me talk about my boss again. Yusuf, as you have mentioned, is also a student here at CMU Africa in Rwanda here. As you mentioned, he works in the intersection of AI and structural engineering. And I know he has research experience. He has worked on a couple of papers. And also he loves to contribute to the African Student Society. Next slide, please. Yeah, and this is Temitope Orokpo. I know we talked about her before. She's currently a PhD candidate in chemistry at Purdue University. So you can tell that these panelists, they have experience that they can share with us, how they got involved in like what they are currently doing, or anything that they can also like share so that we learn. Because I hope we all have pen and paper to write down. I have like 4 jotters here. I'm drawing a map. You know how those FBI movies are like, oh, you have sticky notes. That's what I want to do. Draw the map of whatever they want to share with us today. Okay, thank you. I think we can get started. I'll be starting with Yusuf. Yusuf, can you let us know if you can hear? Oh, that's the
Yeah,
that's
okay, I
the
can
fresh
hear me.
that's the fresh Yusuf. Okay, thank you for joining us, Yusuf. So I want to first ask the first question. Can you take us back to the moment you first seriously considered going to grad school? What was going on in your life or career at that time, and why did you like make that decision?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Hi, Fiona. Hi, everyone. I have to greet Fiona especially because she's my boss. So I think for me, the decision to go to grad school started as far back as I was in 200 level, right? So I knew I wanted to do something around like the intersection of AI and civil engineering. So I came across structural loss monitoring, and at the time, there are not a lot of things, and I know that there are not a lot of opportunities like in Nigeria for like that space. So that's something that get me starting to like research. But like my motive has changed over time, and then now like finally switching to like doing like a PhD or something. Initially started with like just an opportunity to go explore like AI and civil. And I knew grad school was like an easier route to leave Nigeria at the time. And I'm someone that is like very, very technical. But when it comes to the point of deciding like general like career option, a PhD starts in the intersection of the kind of person I am. Like I'm not like so much of I'm a very technical person for those that are like really close to me, and I like teaching. So it feels like PhD gives me that option to be able to do something wider even after like my program. So that was like one of the reasons why I decided, okay, yeah, now I need to do like a PhD or something. But over time, I've seen several things or several opportunities that you could get from like a PhD. For example, beyond even working like within like the academic sector, you could go to the industry or get into like a very senior career, a very senior role, maybe like in consulting or like other industries. So that's like one thing that made me like consider like doing grad school. But the point I decided that, you know what, I'm no more doing grad school, or it has to just be like just grad school, was in my at the end of my 400 level slash 500 level ish. um I just knew that most of the things that we are doing like in the industry during my internship is not what I want to do long term. I get tired of boring things a lot, so I can't be doing something that is like routine every time. Even when I decided to start my master, was because the work I was in at the time was good, but it was almost like a routine thing. So I had to just do something that challenges me and like makes me like learn and grow. So yeah, in summary, the journey started from like 200 level, but over time, it has just become like more obvious that this is something that aligns with the kind of person I am, and then the kind of career that I want to build for myself on a long term.
Okay, thank you so much, Yusuf, for that. I hope we all picked one or two things from that. Now I'm going to go to Temitope Oropo. Hi, Temitope. You are muted if you are speaking.
Thank you for hi. Hi everyone. Thank you for having me here. I remember telling or asking Michael, I think it was Michael that reached out on LinkedIn. Like, I hope I won't feel out of place. And all of you people are talking AI and machine learning and computer science and stuff. Anyway, thank you for having me here. So am I answering the same question?
Okay, just a little different. It's almost similar.
Okay.
So the question would be, what was the moment of experience that made you think I want to do a PhD? Was it a single event or something that like built up over time?
Okay. So backstory to the whole PhD thing. I was also in 200 level, or maybe, yeah, 200 level, I think. I was also in 200 level. I was in chemistry. I didn't want to do chemistry. So you know the whole jam you and stuff. So I initially wanted to do medicine and surgery. Last didn't, whatever. I ended up doing chemistry. I ended up going, and they were like, yeah, my plan was to switch over to LASUCOM in my 200 level, or like rewrite jam and stuff. And I had told one of my like really like big sister that's like a mom. And she was like, okay. And then in 200 level, I remember I was in the backseat of my mom's car, and then we're driving somewhere, and she called and she said, Temitope, don't switch that course again. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, don't go study medicine and don't bother taking jam. My husband's niece is here. We just picked her up from the airport. She also studied chemistry. She also basically has the same story as you. There's full funded scholarship. This is an opportunity for you to get out of the country, go into the US. And like as a 200 level student, I knew, like Yusuf said as well, like, oh, the future, honestly, is not really in Nigeria. Like, at that point, like, I wanted to do, if I had switched back to I guess like medicine and surgery, yes, maybe I'll see in the future somehow in Nigeria. But also, like, you guys know the States, the future was not in Nigeria to do my medicine and surgery. But then especially in that chemistry program, she gave me that opportunity. Like, this is an opportunity. I used you on your first class. I'm like, yeah. She's like, maintain that first class basically. And I'm like, I don't know PhD or no PhD. If you had asked me if I wanted to further chemistry, I would have said I would go for a master's. And then she's like, yeah, I'll connect you guys. You don't have to do a master's. You can just do like a direct PhD. So I came from my BSc into a PhD. And honestly, it was just that phone call that evening that set it for me. And not that like I abandoned my medicine and surgery. Again, I was in 200 level. We were starting to do more chemistry courses. Then I started realizing there is something called medicinal chemistry, and if I'm not the person actually injecting you or diagnosing you, I could be the person like backhand still researching on drugs and stuff, which was my main motivation for wanting to do like medicine and surgery, by the way. So I guess like that was it. And then like I started getting more intrigued about like the whole med chem stuff. How could I be involved, still be involved in the health sector, even if like I am not the front, like the person you would meet. So I guess it was that moment that sets it for me. And honestly, a lot of similarity to Yusuf. And I don't want you guys to feel like, oh, you have to have a certain mindset that you are this did you use the word technical, right? Like you want to challenge yourself. I'm not trying to form like you were saying it, and I'm like in my head, I was smiling and I'm like, scholar, all these people, you know that all these people they want to read book. Small part of me also was that kind of person that I knew that a lot of people in chemistry were switching to banking and finance, and I'm like, that's not the path for me. Or like go do something HR and stuff. I'm like, that's not the path for me. I actually know I'm this kind of person that wants to do research as well. So that interest built up over time, started to know more about medchem, and I'm like, okay, I could be that researcher, I could be that person in the lab that although my synthesis isn't working, like I'm constantly challenging myself. I think I would stop there as like what led to the whole, a PhD program.
Thank you so much, Temtope. Thank you so much. And something that is common among the two panelists is that they knew what's like the path they wanted to follow from zone level. Oh my God, I wish I could. Okay, let's continue.
Oh.
Okay, let's continue. Yeah, I'll go back to Yusuf. I think you mentioned you went through this a little, but probably you could help us shed more light. So, what specifically made you lean towards a master's rather than going straight for a PhD?
Okay.
Do you have a particular reason, or you just like?
Yeah, it makes sense. I would answer the question from my perspective and maybe like a little bit of general advice for anyone that wants to do a master's. At the time, I did not submit so much application. I applied to Northeastern PhD Direct, and then I did like Semi Africa, just masters, just to give it a shot. It wasn't even like I did a lot. It was like I resubmitted what I submitted when I was in 400 level again. So, but I was working something called like Talent Scouts as a talent scout with like a startup. It was good, but again, it was routine, and I felt like I needed more, like something that would be in line with what I want to do long term. Why the learning is great. Like I didn't see myself doing that for like 2-3 years, so I decided that why not just go start my masters, continue applying for my PhD, and when I get my PhD, I can maybe just move on. The master also like add to my profile and everything. So that was the reason that I leaned towards doing like a master's. But generally, the decision to do a master's should be based on like different things. If you are sure you want to do a PhD, my opinion is, I mean, you can start a master's, but it should be a research-based master's. That's like something that is really important. But if you are sure that I did not want to do a PhD, I'm not like Temitope or Ifinya or Samuel. I just want to be cool. Doing a master should be, if for example you study chemistry and you want to please don't talk like it's just because you just finished speaking, I'm using that. If you probably did like chemistry and you want to switch career to like maybe computer science or AI or something, then you can do like a master's in that area and then switch. But if it's still the same area, like where you had your BSc, just try to work maybe like a year or two, then go back to do your master's. Don't just jump into doing like a master, because what are you mastering that you've never even done? What are you mastering that you've never even done like anything? But you can use it to either switch career or to like advance yourself in your current career. But if you know you want to do a PhD, try to do a research-based master or do your research. Try to do research doing like your masters. But if you know it's a PhD, why not just go for like a PhD heads on and see how it goes? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Yusuf. Thank you for letting us know that we need to know what we want to master. Thank you. Okay, I think now let me go to Temitope. Okay, second question. A lot of people see PhD as a much bigger commitment than a master's. So what made you decide to go directly for PhD rather than starting with MSc first?
Yeah, good question. again, like I mentioned while I was talking, I did chemistry. I studied chemistry in my BSc. And if you're looking into grad school in the US, most of them just offer like the direct BSc to PhD, where like on paper, in your acceptance letter, they'll tell you it's for 5 years, right? So finished in, I don't know, finished in 2022, and they were like, okay, by 2027, you'd be done. You have a PhD. That was the opportunity available. If you're looking at like grad school in the Europe or even in Africa, some of them would require that you first do like a master's. And like Yusuf said, if you already know that your end goal is a PhD, like just be on a research or like a PhD track, sort of, wherein you could even be in the same lab and just let your advisor know, I want to proceed, I want to continue into a PhD. So it depends on the opportunity. For me personally, it was the opportunity presented. It's that there is that you don't need to have a master's degree. There are a lot of people in my cohorts that have a master's degree, and then it's like we're restarting. Some of them can transfer, or were able to transfer their courses into their PhD, so that way they don't have to take coursework. But that was the opportunity available for me, and that was what shaped the whole, okay, I'm going straight for a PhD. I was also young, and then like at that point, again, like that semester or that summer before your grad school, you're the most proud person. Like, me, I was 21 at the point. I'm like, I'm going to be a doctor at 26 or 27. Let's do it. Let's go. So that was it. Yeah, that was what led to the decision to do a PhD. And like I knew this was what I was going to be doing, or like maybe I didn't. So Samuel said something when he wanted to like ask the second question, when he directed second question to Yusuf, saying, oh, these people knew what they wanted to do. Honestly, yes, maybe, but also not completely true, especially when we're talking to people that are trying to consider grad school. Me, I went to LASU. I don't know if everybody here, I see that the whole thing is maybe Babcock University. I don't know. But I went to LASU, and LASU is a public school, public university, right? State school. I don't know if it applies to private school. I really don't know. It was okay at that point. If my sister had not called me in my 200 level, that I was at that point, if my brain wasn't already wired that, okay, this is the plan, then we're keeping this, what applying to grad school, if my brain wasn't wired in that direction, I was almost always like conflicted, like what am I even doing? There were multiple times I was in that depressive mode, like what am I going to do after graduation? Like even, and at that point, like this is coming from someone who said they had planned it for me. Yes, or like they had envisioned that thing for me, and me myself have accepted the plan, because there's that point where like people can be planning your plans for you post graduation. If you don't accept it, you are still, or you are still lost. Like there was that plan, sure plan for me, that this is the goal. Like you're applying to a PhD program, you're going to go do it. But there was also me 60% of the time that I was like, what am I going to do post graduation? And there might be a lot of people here, I don't know what year in your undergrad you guys are in first year, fourth year, and you may be like, I don't even know if I want to do this machine learning thing. I know it's cool. I know maybe I'm interested now, but I don't even know in the future. So yes, like I knew, but also I didn't know. And it's okay. And the reason why I'm addressing that is like to tell everyone that it's okay if you don't know what you want to do. The other thing I wanted to address real quick was Yusuf saying like, go get work experience. Yes, if someone had told me maybe like, go and touch grass more, don't just move from school to school and like you're just schooling like that. I can't even count the number of years since they've put back in my back like this in nursery one. I've not paused school. But like I really love that advice that like go do work. But there are a lot of people also that just maybe they don't know what they want to do, and that master's degree can be like a point, whether you are progressing in the same direction, that you're doing your BSc and you want to do your master's in the same line. That master's, that if you don't want to go and do work, it can be your brief 2 years to figure out what you want to do, because that way there is less distraction, there is more grounding into your research or into your research.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dimpope. Thank you. And I think there are a lot of things to learn from that, especially for people that are still in the undergrad. Even those of us doing our masters, we might not even know what is next, what's ahead, and one other thing I learned from what Temitope shared is the importance of having people like to guide you. Uh, whether it is through sessions like this or maybe just having a mentor, like those that have seen things ahead and probably have a plan. And also, you should weigh the plan and see if you can follow through, because that's the main thing from what some of the things I could get from what she said. And like one philosopher said, info lay of info, which means you you move with info with information. So I think we all know the philosopher that said that. Okay. Thank you. So let me go back to Yusuf. So I would like you to share with us, how did you weigh the cost of pursuing your career or other commitments against the potential benefit of doing a master's? Because I know that could be a problem, especially for people that are already working. Yeah. So,
For me, it was just thinking like 5 years, 10 years down the line. That was basically it. And to give like an analogy, most people, like one of my mentors used to tell me this, that if two people finish maybe in a lab together simultaneously, one of them get like an offer to go do like a master's or a PhD like in the US or UK, for example, and somebody get like an offer to work. I know there's no Twitter or X in Lagos, so I'll use X in Lagos office. Initially, they pay that person in X in Lagos office is going to be really high. But that person that's going to do like a master's or like a PhD abroad, it might seem like the person is not starting off with like a really good money, because PhD or master's, the truth is, if you're not like super interested, if it doesn't really align with your career, don't bother. Like, there's no money there. The first 5 to 6 or 7 years of your life is super also like pure also. So you have to choose your battles. But like after the PhD or after the masters, maybe the first job you are going to get is way, way better because you have more exposure. Like the person that maybe do like a master's in the US, for example, can get a job in like X office in what's it called, in the US, and you can't compare what they are going to be earning. They are both working for the same company, but like in different environments with different level of exposure. And that person will also like have like a faster career growth. But for me, it was mostly like 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, where did I want to be? Like this job, 5 years down the line, how much can I be earning or where did I want to be? And then if I'm going for my master's, 5 years down the line, what's going to be the impact of this master's? So it was just basically thinking long term rather than the immediate effects for me.
thank you, Yusuf. That was good. So it's good to like weigh your options and try to like be true to yourself to know what you want. Thank you. Let me come back to Temitope. Okay, our question, I'd like you to tell us if you had like a specific research problem or question in mind before you applied, or did that come later? I know you mentioned like some interesting stuff that you are doing in medicinal chemistry. So, but did you have like a specific research problem or question in mind before you applied for PhD, or it was when you applied later on that came in mind?
Thank you. So the only thing I knew for sure was that after doing 4 years of chemistry and doing my final year projects was I wanted to do something that would involve synthesis, and I wanted to be able to test the compounds that I synthesize to like for their biological activity. That was the only thing I had going into grad school going into the PhD. That was the only thing. I didn't have like a specific, this is the problem I want to tackle. Maybe it's antibiotic resistance or HIV/AIDS or anti-cancer drugs. I didn't have anything specific. I just had that broad knowledge that this is my interest. And honestly, that's all you need to, maybe don't let me generalize, but mostly here, like that's all you need. You just need that interest. You need to have a research interest area. You don't have to have it defined. Some schools even here may say, oh, you have to come with like a a proposal like this is the area that I want to tackle myself. But for me, that was enough, and that was all they were asking me to. For me as well, here they recognize that you are basically a baby. I sometimes feel like this is me going through undergrad again. Sometimes they recognize that you are a baby, you are coming in, they don't expect you to know everything. So you even have the opportunity to like shadow other labs that are not particularly doing the same thing you are interested in, just to see if that would interest you. And yeah, I went through the whole thing. I just made sure as I was like interviewing in quotes labs that I wanted to join when I got here. Like I was telling them what I was interested in, and I was asking if that's what they do and how our interests would align. And that's basically, I didn't have anything defined. I just had that research interest, and that was all.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that was good to know, because I know most people might think they need to like go down into the details to know exactly what they want to do. Thank
If
you.
you do, that's perfect. If you do,
Mhm.
yay. I did not, and I know a lot of people do not.
Thank you. And do you
Sure,
think that
can I
also
add?
depends on? Okay, just go on.
I just wanted to add something that as long as you're not doing your master's or your PhD like in Nigeria,
That's what I
in
was
a
going to
proper school structure, like if they can bring you in, trust me, you're going to, what I say, they have a structure to help you figure things out. They're not just going to leave it to yourself. Just have it that, oh, I want to do this. Have a general thing. It doesn't have to be super specific, like, oh, I must work on this, right? Just have a general this. And if you can get in, trust me, they'll help you figure things out. So yeah.
Thank you. That was actually what I was going to ask, if it depends on maybe where you are at, because I'm thinking of my school, University of Lagos, and if okay, let's continue. You see, why are you laughing? Okay. Back to you, Yusuf. So we'd like to know if there were moments of doubt before or after you made your decision, and how did you undo that uncertainty?
Uh, I mean, to be frank, there were a moment of that was like maybe I should have just stayed back and continued my work. I mean, I was relatively comfortable, earning well, living a soft life, and just asking myself that why did I choose why did I choose this lifestyle where there's no money? But for me, it's just again, one thing that always just come back to me is what did I want to do long term? Did I see myself doing this thing like 2 to 3 years down the line? Like where did I want to be? I'm a kind of person that if I'm starting something today, I want to ask myself, how long did I want to do this for? And what am I looking at getting? So there will always be like moment of doubt, especially when Sakpa knocks at the door. I always ask myself that, guy, why can't you just go back and just go and do your work? But one thing that always come back to me again is always, what did I want to do long term? For anyone that wants to go through like the grad school routes, a PhD or an MSc and stuff, you always have to look at what's like the long term goal for you. How does that fit into your plan? Don't just start a master's or a PhD when you're not even sure how it fits into like your long term plan. I kid you not, you'll be frustrated. Please. Yeah.
Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you so much. And I can also testify that sometimes you have doubts, especially when the money comes stop coming in, when you have to pause your work to go masters, then I'll be doubting, oh, why am I even here? But thank you, Yusuf, for that. I don't know what Yusuf is saying. Let me go back to Tim Tokboy again. I think we have a similar question. I would like to know what were the biggest concerns or fears you had before committing to a PhD, and how did you work through them, or are you currently like working through them?
For me, the biggest thing was the knowledge deficits coming from Nigeria into the United States and being placed at the same level with these people that have been through, in quotes, better training. That was my biggest fear. I I wasn't like doing, I jackpot from my NYSC, so I didn't finish it. Like I had 2 months or so. It's like I didn't have like a job that was paying that I would be looking back and be like, maybe I could have been doing that. No, I could not have been doing that. Never I could have been doing that. So that was the biggest fear. Is that imposter syndrome? Is that constantly feeling like I'm not enough? Even when a lot of people will tell you that you're coming from Nigeria, we are smart, which they are not lying, we are smart, but there is also the way they've brought up people you are coming here to like be in the same class with, is that they are more technical, they are fast like decision makers. They would have certain questions that it's not that you don't know or you couldn't have asked, but you would be impressed like at the sitting, and it's just like in a blink of an eye they're like talking. Whereas for me, it's not like I'm not smart though, but like I would have to, for me, I still have to sit with it. I'm that kind of person. I still have to sit with it and I have to understand. Them, they are teaching us this thing, and immediately they are already questioning the line of thinking of the instructor. That was the biggest fear for me, that I would not know enough, that I would have to like start from scratch, like maybe be attending their undergrad classes and stuff. And being I just finished my 4th year, so I'm moving into my 5th year of grad school, is the one thing that I've learned is that imposter syndrome would never end. And you might be doing a PhD program, you might be doing a master's program, you might be out of grad school, you might just be like working, if that's the path you've chosen. It's that imposter syndrome would never end. And that was my biggest fear. So it's like I'm still constantly fighting that big fear that I had before grad school, while in grad school, that there would be that voice. I call it my own personal hater, that it wants to let me feel like I don't know. But it's not true. It's like if you don't know, you wouldn't be there. Whatever decision whatever path you will decide, or you have decided to move on with in life. I still feel like a lot of people know much more than me, but I can be in the same room with them, and that's more than enough for me. That yes, they can be able to think within 1 second, and me, I might need a minute to sit with that information, but that's okay. And like Yusuf mentioned, if you are in a proper program, in a proper school program, like where they actually care about the education, there is a plan for you there. You may feel like they think you are dumb, but no, they are actually there to help you. And so they see that, okay, sometimes you don't even know, and they are ready to accommodate that. And I say that as a rising 50-year PhD student. So that was my biggest fear.
Okay, thank you so much. I think there are a lot of lessons in your response just now. And I'm also thinking that okay, let me put out the question. Do you think it's good that one pushes a kind of environment where you are not like the smartest, where like you have people challenging you to like think beyond what you need? Or should we just stay in like in circles where we think that, okay, I'm the best? And what do you think?
I think it really has a huge impact on like the way you think when you are constantly surrounded by great minds. Like you can't be the only foolish person among great minds, right? So like if you are constantly surrounding yourself with people that are like that, you would eventually be like that. So while there's still that voice in my own head that makes me feel like maybe I'm not enough or stuff, I also know that if I compare myself where I'm at right now to where I was at in my 1st year, there are things that you would throw at me now and immediately I'll tell you that you're talking trash. But you could have shown me that thing in my 1st year and I would be like, so wise, so smart. So like it compounds the effect of that challenge on your brain, because our brain is like a muscle, right? The way we think, it's like you are training that muscle. It's like trying to get big chest in the gym. If you are constantly training, you'll be stronger. So that's the same thing with our brain. If people are constantly challenging you to use your brain more, to think on your feet, to see things the way they are seeing it, yes, you may not be like them because everybody is different, but it compounds. That effect compounds, and it's eventually, if you don't see it in the moment though, it would eventually be noticeable. So I would never advise anyone to just like stay like where they are comfortable. I was the best graduating student in my department, in my faculty, third overall in last one. Not to flex on anybody, but I was going into a grad school program and I didn't feel like I knew anything. So I feel like everybody, regardless, you don't have to have first class or anything. I'm not even trying to sell that. Have first class or like walk towards it, but like if you end up not having one, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Make sure you are not just being like, oh, I want to be the best student in the room and like sit with that. It doesn't really help. And you just be, for me, a lot when I was in undergrad, I was suffering and smiling because it felt like there was nobody I could talk to. I felt like the smartest person in the room. And so everything I knew was just like, the people be like, Oropo knows that one. That's enough. That's all we have to know. But like here, I have people where I'm like, even when I know that I'm smarter than them, and again, this is not to flex, even when I know that, like, put us together, I'm smarter than these people, but there are certain parts of, like, certain ways, certain things that they do that I know that, yeah, this is better than the way I do it. So, like, I look up to that, even when I know, when I know that I'm the smartest in the room. There are still certain things that they do, and I'm like, yeah, I could probably do this way. So regardless of whatever you choose, grad school or not, make sure you are not trying to be like that standard of like knowledge that once you get to this point that this person knows, you've known everything. Make sure you're constantly challenging yourself and you're surrounding yourself with people that will challenge you. And like Samuel mentioned earlier, that would come like from like mentors, from seniors, people in your field and people outside your field. Not to talk too much. Sorry, me.
True. Okay.
Oracle. But really, like, nice points, to be honest.
Yeah, actually. Thank you so much, Temitope. Let's go back to Yusuf. I think you mentioned this like throughout your discussion so far, but we would like it to also like go deeper. So would I love to know how you decide on a specific field or specialization within your masters? Was it like a natural extension of what you did in undergrad, or are you like pivoting or?
For me, it's more like an extension, but like if I tell someone I'm doing engineering AI, it feels like, oh, you're pivoting to AI, right? But it's not like I'm pivoting. My research interest is generally application of AI in structural engineering. I had a background in civil engineering. Most of what I did is structural engineering stuff, like in my undergrad. So it's more like an extension, but it's not like I'm directly continuing the engineering concepts, but rather now focusing on like how AI is being or how AI can be applied like in engineering. So that's the way I would like to describe it for myself. But for someone that wants to decide what to specialize on in like in your masters or something, it's all about what you want to do. For example, if you have a background in maybe chemistry, right? And you want to do application of AI in chemistry or computational chemistry, you probably want to do a master's that helps you build up on your previous knowledge. But now if you have a background in, say, maybe chemistry, and you want to pivot fully to data science or AI or machine learning, just do a master's in like pure AI or pure machine learning and just pivot to that area. So it's what you want to do like long term that determine like what you're going to focus on. But if your background, if your research interest is something that is between an intersection between something and the other thing, for example, say civil engineering like myself and AI, if you have a background in civil, try to do a master's that is either an application of AI in civil engineering or like in engineering generally or just pure AI so that you can merge the two knowledge together like moving forward. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yusuf. Thanks for the answer, and I hope we learned from that. Now let me go back to Temitope or Okpo. This question is more on, you would like to know how people around you, your family, your friends, your colleagues, how they reacted when you told them you were going for a PhD, and did that like affect your decision at all, make you like found out I made the right thing?
No, nothing affected my decision. Let me answer the last question first.
Okay.
I I knew me. I was leaving the country. I knew I was going. Nothing could stop me. You can say nothing will stop me. Nothing was stopping me at that point. And like I knew where I was going. Like, okay, yes, it was Japa, but also like I knew what I wanted to be doing down the line, right? And what I had chosen at that point was going to help me get to where I wanted to. So like nothing you say will stop me. I did not tell, well, except for that my sister. So I come from like, it would make sense this way. I come from like a polygamous family, and the sister I had mentioned earlier, I said like she could as well be my mom because she has a kid that is like the same age as me. So like she's that kind of sisterhood, and she's my house sister, right? So she was the only one that like she called me and told me you have to apply. Make sure you finish with this. Da 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 da. Make sure this is the plan. And I knew. So like when I wanted to apply, like I reached out to her like, oh, I'm in my final year now. I probably should like start preparing. Or maybe it was my third year, second semester. I don't know. And then she connected me with the niece she had mentioned that I mentioned earlier. And then like we were talking about what schools should you apply to, what programs and stuff. So that was the only person family wise that actually knew. Well, other than my boyfriend then that knew that like I was applying into like that I was applying to a program. I didn't tell my mom, I didn't tell my full siblings, like my full same mom, same dad, my sister and my brother, and didn't tell them anything. And the reason, and I'm not saying people should do this, the only reason is like I come from this family that my mom, if the thing did not bossy, like if I wasn't offered an admission and like it wasn't successful and stuff, she would start, if anything is wrong with me, she would be referring back to that. And I'm this kind of person that I'm like, then I was, and still now I'm really like anxious, right? So I don't want someone adding anxiety onto like one anxiety that I'm trying to not feel. So if any, I didn't tell them because like if you did not now go and sub, maybe you're in for me now and I don't want to talk to people. They'll not start saying, is it because your PhD thing did not go? I didn't want that, that Nigerian mommy thing. I didn't want that adding to my problem at all. And that was the reason why I didn't tell them. Once I got the admission and I knew like I was going to schedule my visa interview, then I called my mom, I told her, and then my other half siblings, because I was in Bagada then for my NY, so I was living with my other half siblings. And I remember one of my brothers was saying, everybody just wants to leave Nigeria. Make sure you come back. I said, okay. The other person said, you're going to a PhD program. You did the second person, because my sister that I had mentioned, she's a nurse, but she's a doctor of nurse. So she also has a PhD. She'd be like, yeah, you be the second person and you'll probably be the youngest. I don't want this to get into your head. And you guys can already guess as a woman, 21 years old, saying you want to go and read that much coming from Nigeria. The next thing they will tell you is, make sure like you are thinking about getting settled. Don't feel like you are too educated and you don't need a man. That was the next thing that they started saying. And once that person said it, everybody started saying, yes, so like you have a boyfriend now. Breakfast have happened, but that's besides the point. Like you have a boyfriend, make sure that you don't feel like you're now proud. You don't need a man. That was the only thing. That was the only noise I was hearing. Is that comeback? Yeah, everybody just wants to leave. And the second one was, yeah, woman, no. Yeah, make sure you're not saying you're overeducated and you don't need a man, or you are comfortable, you don't need a man. That was the only thing. And the two of them, I knew that I'm not listening to anything. Other than that, that's all.
Thank you so much, Temitope. Thank you. And I think most Nigerians can relate to the things you have mentioned. I need people to focus though. I think people that I've seen stuff on the boyfriend. Someone said that's what they had. Okay, let's focus, please. Thank you so much, Temitope, once again. Sir Yusuf, back to you. Okay, I would like to know if you think a master's is necessary for a career growth in ML and AI, and when do you think like it might be the right move? And for example, let's say somebody working in tech, when do you think okay, it is time for them to consider doing a master's? Like what scenarios could lead to that?
Yeah. given the context that you're working like in ML, like in tech generally, I think you should start. I'll say you should start considering doing a master's when you are probably like due for like a promotion or something. But the way I like to think about the decision is it's a bit longer process, but it's database. Most people are like tech guys, yeah. So you want to be like this, maybe the CTO of your company or CTO of a kind of company. Go and check LinkedIn, like what are the CTOs in this particular type of companies? What did they have? Right? If you see that, okay, maybe 9 of 10 CTOs in these similar companies have a master's, that's a cue that probably doing a master's is like the next thing that you probably want to do, right? But if you know that master's is not like necessary, you also need to be honest with yourself. See, we need sometimes to wind ourselves. We know what we know, we know what we did not know, right? If you know that the promotion that you are looking for or the next job that you're trying to get, you are not qualified for it. It's not by like I like to say this thing, like Muslims say inshallah, like if Allah wills or if God wills. Inshallah isn't a strategy. I like to tell people this. You also have to be realistic with yourself. Yeah, there's nothing God cannot do, but like still, you also need to know, like, did my profile suit this thing I'm looking out for? If you now check and you see that, okay, knowledge wise, I'm not exactly there yet. Have I seen that, okay, people that are there, most like, how many percent of them have a master's, right? You can then make your decision based off that. But it's not just like, just go ahead and do a master's. For me, that's like the way I like, don't just go ahead and start. It's more like, why are you starting? That way, like, even when the going gets tough, you have something that makes you feel like this is why I'm actually doing this. There'll be sleepless night, there'll be a lot of other things. But if you know that, okay, this is why I'm doing this master's, is for me to get this next role or this thing. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. It sometimes it might not just even be like doing the masters or the PhD alone that gets you to that position. It might be like, what kind of internship are you doing during your masters, or what kind of programs are you taking? What kind of things are you doing during like that masters program? So you have that full context. So when you're doing the masters, you are able to like engage in those other things, and then you can get like what you want to get like at the end of the day, right? So yeah. I'm not sure if Samuel is still on the call.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Thank you
great.
Thanks so much for that. That's particularly like important for people that are currently in tech that probably want to like climb the ladder higher to like go more, be more what's the name? Like to go higher in their career. So that might be a pointer to like maybe go back to school or just pick another like pick some other skills to add to what you currently have. Thank you so much. Let's go back to, if you know, it's time to go back to school. Let's go back to Temitope Oropo. Okay, there's a common narrative that a PhD is only worth it if you want to go into academia. So most people feel like I need a PhD if I want to like maybe stay in academia or maybe go into academia. What's your take on that, Temitope?
No, you don't have to stay in academia. Me, personally, will not be staying in academia, if that answers the question. You don't have to. Doing a PhD, we sometimes get lost in that scholar thing, right? That you have to be smart, you're only going there book. But there is a lot of, as a PhD, you are a well-rounded, like you are trained all around. You are a well-rounded scientist, whatever you want to call yourself. So yes, you are getting smarter by the amount of information you are now exposed to in a PhD program, the amount of times that you have had to fail at something and repeat it, the troubleshooting that you've had to do, the numerous research sleepless nights, the times that you want to quit and you are like, I'm not quitting, I'm continuing with this. All that, while you are going through it, you may not realize that they are shaping you into a better person, but they are building these skills, all these skills that we used to put on our CV, teamwork, independent researcher, that we just claim and put on our CV. While you're going through that PhD or a master's, grad school generally, you are building on those skills and you wouldn't know that you're building on them subconsciously. Like in interviews here, they would mostly not even ask you whether your PhD is successful or not. Like as a chemistry person, if I was looking for an internship or a job post graduation, they would probably tell me, depending on what job I'm looking for, maybe they will tell me to present on something. They are not particular about the success of what you are presenting on, which is where most people get lost. Like, oh, we're only doing this for book and like research and stuff. They are more particular about you selling your skills to them. Okay, I learned how to troubleshoot. I learned how to do research. And this is you looking for job in industry, not even academia. So you don't have to like end up as that person that will set up their own lab and now be recruiting grad students. God knows at this point of my life, nobody can tell me to think of research ideas for somebody to come and do. No. So like it builds you all around whatever you decide to do in grad school. You just need to identify those skills that you have now learned. There is that resilience, and maybe it doesn't seem like a lot to us as Nigerians, but it's a big thing. It's a really, really big thing that like you are able to start something. People are able to trust you, and you are demonstrating that through your PhD, that I'm able to start the research, I'm able to contribute to knowledge. And when it seems like we should give up, which is what they train us in PhD, that we don't give up, especially like in school. You don't give up, you just keep going, even when it seems that the project wouldn't work. Like you are showing yourself to recruiters that I am able to carry a project from point A to point B, facing all of these challenges. This is how I fought through this challenge. And those are the skills that are desirable, regardless of your background, chemistry, machine learning, AI, engineering, regardless. Those are the desirable skills that you are a reliable person and you are displaying your competence through the PhD that you've gotten. So you don't have to end up in academia. Again, personally, me and my household will not be ending up in academia.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, because that's what most of us think, that we in academia. Please let's make sure that we keep our questions to ML and AI. I'm seeing some questions on the chat. Please let's get there to. I don't know if there's a model called boyfriend that's, I don't know whether we need to learn that model too. But please let's keep our questions to ML and AI, and maybe whatever we have about the grad school. Okay, we almost at the end, because we want to keep the time. Let me go back to Yusuf. Okay, for someone that is in the audience right now and who is on the fence about a master's, what would you say to them honestly? Like, no filters. So Yusuf.
I will first ask you why you're on the fence. If there are several reasons you could be on the fence. It could be on the fence because of funding, or whether or not you are able to afford it. It could also be on the fence because whether or not it is the right thing for you to even do in the first place. It's not like maybe you did not have the funding or stuff, right? But if it is funding, like whether or not you have enough money or you can get like, because most people will say masters, there's not like a lot of funding for it. What I would just say is first just look in and try to find the one that will give you like sufficient funding to be able to pursue the program, if you are sure that it does align. But if it does not align, again, I'll still go back to like to the basis. Sometimes you don't need to have the clarity, but if you have like some rough idea of where you want to be, one thing I like to do is I like to look at people's profile online and just see what's this person doing. Sometimes I can just sit down on LinkedIn and be scrolling through like different people's profile just to have a feel of what their career has been like, what is it. So you'll see a pattern most times. If you now see the pattern, that can just give you like more reassurance if it's coming from a place of clarity or whether you are not clear. Most importantly, have mentors and talk to them. I have a lot of mentors that I used to chat with, particularly regarding grad school. I have people that we talk frequently. I have people that we only talk maybe like once in a quarter or like once or twice in a year. I just reach out to them, give them updates, and then we have a call, and then we have these chats. There are several times I already told myself that, okay, I'm not applying for this thing again, I beg. If I go to consulting, I'll survive. Like I was so confident that like whatever path I chose to go, like I know I'm going to be successful, but it's just more like, what did I really want for myself beyond just the pay or the immediate things that people can see, right? So I think that's basically what I would say. So if it's coming from a place of funding, whether you do not have like you do not have enough funding and you are really worried that you might not be able to finish it, find programs that have funding. The key strategy is find people that have gotten or that have done the same program. For example, like maybe if there is a particular opportunity you're trying to find, go to LinkedIn, XYZ scholar or XYZ person or XYZ program. Just look for those people, even if it's a particular school. Go and filter down on that school. Start with your second degree connection, your first degree connection, and see if there's somebody you know, and then reach out to the person. Just send like a code email and let them know that, hi, I'm trying to apply for this thing. That's the way I like to apply for stuff, because if you have gotten the same thing before, there is a higher chance that if I speak to 2 to 3 people, I will know what those people are looking out for, and then I can present myself as the best guy for you. That's such a funding problem. But if it's coming from a clarity perspective, do your research, look out for like people that are doing something similar to what you want to do, find the pattern, and then decide whether or not a master's is really necessary, and speak to them or your mentors generally. If you're not even your mentor, just ask. People are happy to chat about their experience. That's one thing I've realized. Just reach out to them that I am XYZ person, I'm considering doing this. Will you be available to have like a quick chat or something? Maybe like a 10-15 minute chat. And then you can talk to them and learn, because it's not everything that guilters are good or something. I can't remember it. Sometimes you see some things in the face value that, oh yeah, this person is doing these things, right? And it feels like it's the best life out there, but you don't know what those people are going through. Like I know someone, for example, like in CMU, there are days when you go home like in the middle of the night, and when you get back home, you're not going back home to sleep, you're going back home to work. But you will not see this thing on someone's profile, you will not see it on Temitope's profile like online, right? It's just there are some things that you don't know, so you probably want to ask them and be sure before you get started with like doing it. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Yusuf. Yeah, I think one important point you made was to like reach out to people and also use like your connections, whether it is on LinkedIn or people you know, because it's much easier when you have someone that's done what you want to do before, and then you can ask them for steps and maybe guidance. Thank you so much, Yusuf. Okay. Finally, let's go to Temitope once more. And it's a similar question we are going to ask you to round up. If someone in this audience is torn between, let's say, master's and a PhD right now, what honest advice will you give them to help them make that choice?
I would say if you have, it depends on the program that you're in. I'm like more chemistry biased because like chemistry is what I'm studying. If you want to go to grad school and study chemistry, your best bet is to go for a PhD. That's what positions you for more opportunities post-graduation. I have friends here that are in more like engineering or computer science, and they've realized that like they don't need to advance to that PhD level because there's a problem of overqualification. So, and that's where Yusuf's points really comes in, that you have to go and research, sit down and do your research. Yes, people are there to advise you and guide you, but you have to also sit and do your own research about where you want to be, who are the people that are there. Look at their profiles, look at like recent graduates and like where they are working. Look at where you want to be. Look at what they have on their profile. Do most of them have a PhD? Don't look at the old folks, because there are a lot of like people that are like 20-something years in the company and they only have a BSc, or some people would even only have an associate degree. Look like the past 5-10 years. That's more current. What degrees do they have? Do they have a PhD? Do they have an MSc? Do they have MSc and take certain certifications? And once you know like the it sort of like sets like a standard for that field. Once you know the standard for the field, that most people would get the masters, and it's okay. There is no case of overqualification or underqualification, because if you have a master's, then you are not overqualified. You are in that in between, and you are not underqualified because you don't only have a BSc degree. If you get a PhD, there is a case of overqualification. With like people in chemistry now, there is a case of, do you want, after your PhD, do you want to go and do a postdoc? For chemistry, personally, it's shifting towards you have to go do a postdoc if you want to do medicinal chemistry after your PhD. so that you would even be more qualified for that role. So it's all about your research. That's my main thing. Again, the funding thing that Yusuf mentioned is a really big thing, and the opportunity you have at hands. Where are you applying to? If you're applying to places where you need a master's, then for sure you have to get a master's. If you don't know if you want to do a PhD, a master's is a sure way to like step into that water. Like instead of just jumping, just test out the waters. Like, okay, is this okay? I've done a 2 years master's. Do I see myself doing more? And grad school is really hard. So I'm not going to force a PhD or a master's on someone. And I'm not even going to say, if you don't want to do PhD because PhD is hard, then go and do masters. Masters itself is hard. Like, I'm not going to say PhD is not hard or like masters is harder than a PhD. But you have 2 years to do research. You are pressed within those 2 years to like produce stuff, compared to like a PhD program where you are there for 5 years or maybe 3 years if you have a master's already. So there is a lot of research that I would advise people to go do. Connect where you want to be with the things that you need to do and let that motivate you. So I don't think there is a one size fits all answer. I think it all depends on what you see yourself doing in the future and what the field is asking of you. So my summary is, do your research. If there is all the opportunities, go for whichever one the field requires of you. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Temitope. And thank you to Yusuf. So we have come to the end of this panel session. Please let's show some love, please. How do we do that? Okay, with emojis. Thank you so much, Yusuf and Temitope. Okay, now it's time to ask questions and then get answers from the panelists. If you have questions, please, if you need to speak, just raise up your hand. You prefer if you speak, but if you cannot speak also, you could drop your questions on the chat. So if you want to speak, please raise up your hand and then we'll choose who to go first. Are there any hands raised? I'm not seeing any. Okay. Alabi, please, you can go on first.
Okay, thank you very much for organizing this. It's actually very impactful. So yeah. So my question is, so basically I have I came from basically not much of a science background. I did project management. So and I did transition into tech, I mean, with the situation of things. And I've actually been involved in tech right from school, software engineering. And I've tried applying for programs. And one of the things that I've noticed is that when I don't get admission, it's always due to the background issue of a thing. Maybe if I apply for scholarships or even schools basically in Europe or in US, it has always been around that issue. So, and I'm just asking that, is there a way around this? Because frankly, I've actually been involved in things around AI, and I try as much as possible to document my experience from job and everything, volunteering and everything and that, but still they don't agree. So I'm just trying to understand, is there something that I can do on my hand, maybe to kind of show that I can, you understand, do something like this? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alabi. Does anyone between Yusuf and Temitope want to take the question?
I have something I can say to that, then maybe Temi can have something.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I'll say that I'm 90% sure that somebody must have done what you want to do before. I'll give myself as an instance. I did engineering, I'm doing engineering AI now, but I know somebody, Ibukun, I know he moved from engineering to like a pure computer science PhD, and which is something that I want to give a shot. Because I already studied guy's profile. The last time I was speaking to Steven, one of my mentors like that, we just spoke in that direction. I was like, oh, did I know Ibukun? I said, I need Ibukun. I've already studied guy's profile. And it was like, sure, it's going to connect us together, right? I'm going to have a chat with him soon. is just to learn how did you go about it. I would say first thing first is try to find someone that have done the same thing, because it's probably not because you are not good enough. It's definitely because maybe there's something you are not. It's the way you tell your story that matters. Sometimes they say you need a first class before you can get some. People are getting some opportunities with 2-2, right? And you are going to be surprised. It's just like Yoruba people say, "Enito more way, lo more way." And like the philosopher that this guy mentioned earlier, info of info, is one info that you're having. That's why you're not flying yet. So please just find someone that has done the same thing. Chat with the person and get what you need to do differently.
Yeah, I will just follow up on that. Really, yes, everything Yusuf said, yes, do everything. The second thing, or the only thing I want to add is sometimes this problem is actually not you. It might be like funding situation, research opportunities where you're applying to, and they don't have it. And sometimes they send these generic like rejection letters where it's like, go figure out why we've rejected you. So they might say, your research interest is not aligning with ours. Well, it might just be that I don't have a research at the moment that you would fit in with, or like I don't have the money to bring you on. There's a lot of cases like that in the US right now, with like Trump and everything and funding and stuff. So me, I would say, like, I know it can be tiring. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep reaching out to people to, like, even if you've reached out to like 10 people to look at your previous profile, you want to apply again, reach out to people to as much as you can, as much people as you can reach to like review your application material, speak to people that have been through the process again and again. And eventually, like, I know you would eventually do something right that you may not even think you've done anything differently, but eventually something will click. So
Thank you so much, Temitope and Yusuf, for that. I think we can pick a question from the chat and then someone that raises up their hand. And also, if you have a question, like if you want to address it to, let's say, a particular panelist, please, you can include that when you ask a question. Okay, let's pick this from Wariza Korede. They're asking if you are advising a student in his third year planning to go for postgraduate degrees, what would be the first step you would recommend? Yusuf Temitope, you want to?
I would say do your research. That's the very first step. Because you're in your third year, which means like if you're in a 4-year program, you have 1 more year. If you're in a 5-year program, you have 2 more years. Do your research is the very first thing you should do. Like you need to like create a time and actually sit. Am I just going to do this master's because everyone is doing it? And I know I keep referring to Yusuf, but apparently like he's the scholar on here and he has the wisdom. So we'll keep referencing him. Yusuf has hammered on this like a lot, that don't just go and do something for doing its sake. Yes, it's a means to leave the country. Yes, a lot of people are doing it. But why do you want to do it yourself? You have to sit down. See, someone in the comments, in the chat box earlier puts purposeful jackpot. Yes, let your jackpot be purposeful. Don't let it just be you want to leave. Regardless of what you choose, it's going to be hard. You need that time to reflect back on and be like, yes, I sat with this, I thought about it, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So that's my very first advice, is sit down. Where do you see yourself? Even if you don't have it figured out yet, it's still in that moment that you are sitting down with your thoughts, that you are going to then make the decision to reach out to more people. I mean, my third year, I don't know what I want to do yet. I need advice. What is this like? But again, we're in a phase where you can't just say you don't know what you want to do. Maybe you would have a series of things that you're like, I can fit here. Don't reach out to someone and just say, come and help me plan my life. You have to go to them with something. And that's something that you go to them with would come from the research that you've done. So sit and do research. Now you know what you want to do. Do I need a master's or a PhD? You know that. What schools do I want to apply to? What countries do I want to apply to? Maybe you don't know the opportunities there are yet, but like, okay, at that point, you're not just reaching out to someone, because I'm all for like people reach out to me on LinkedIn. I working on this to reply fast, but like reach out to people on LinkedIn. Just reach out all raw and like, no, you're not coming from a certain angle. Like if you want help from me, like Yusuf said, reach out to people that have been through certain things. But you're just telling me I'm a third year and I want to go to grad school. Okay, what do you want to go and do in grad school? What schools are you looking at? What exactly do you want me to advise you on? What schools, what countries, what program, what are you interested in? Like, you have to sit down first and do research. So that way, when you reach out to people, they can help you. You also, because from your research, then you know what questions to ask people. So and I think that's the biggest advice is you need to sit down and map out what you want to do, where you want to go, or what you need advice on. Research basically is the very first thing you should do.
Sorry, very quickly, just to add to what Temi said.
Okay.
If you're like in your fourth year or so, try to make sure that your final year project is something that you can either publish or that you want to publish. It's going to go like a long way in helping your application process. Temi, I'm reaching out to you on LinkedIn, so I'll be very specific, I promise.
Okay. Thank you.
You need to go and do chemistry.
No, just general stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Temi. Thank
what
you,
you
Yusuf.
said. Good.
Okay, because of time, I think at most maybe you can take 2 more questions or okay, let's Victor Ayodeji ask this question and then maybe we'll take 1 more.
All right, thank you very much. And very big thank you to the panelists for the insightful session. Yeah, so I'm currently studying computer science in my 200 level. And yeah, my CGPA is, I'll say, strong. But then I know that academic research experience is very important, right? And from what Yusuf said, yes, I know that final year project is there, right? But I don't know, is there a strategy you would suggest that suggest to a 200 level student to start maybe collaborating with lecturers and start learning 1 or 2 about academic research, or even get his name on a published paper, even from 200? Is that possible? And what's the strategy you suggest? Thank you.
First, anything is possible, right? But to be more specific, my recommendation would be, I don't know what school you're attending, I didn't catch that, but like Nigeria is very funny. So if you are schooling in like
Covenant University.
I think you are like in one of the best schools that you can easily get this opportunity. Just find a researcher or like one of your faculty member that is doing something related to what you want to do. Approach them. Just tell them your general interest and you're interested in doing like a research. I know you guys have like a publication stuff within your school that you can easily just what's it called? You can easily just publish that work in that paper, and that way, like, it doesn't have to be like a globally recognized conference or something. It just shows that this person has some research experience and we can go ahead and check it anywhere online, right? So that's, reach out to any of the faculty member and go ahead. Another thing you can do is try to join like communities like ML in Lagos, MLC, and like just research communities generally that aligns with what you're trying to do. So you can join like different conversations they're having and join like different collaborations. So yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Totally agree. You can pitch yourself as their research assistant and you just know you're not going to be paid. It's just exposure, basically. Try to like get exposure. It's unpaid exposure. You are in a private school again, you are set up for this. Get that experience that you can, like, that would be tangible, that you can put on your CV, that can help you. It's never too early to start and it's never too late. So you don't have to be in 200 level in your final year. It's never too early or too late. Just try to get the exposure.
All right. Thank you very much. And by the way, I don't know, I have just a very brief question for Yusuf, if I'm permitted to ask.
Okay, if you keep it brief.
Yes, please. So it's about work experience, right? Yusuf, I recently interned at a particular company where you worked at, but it's not a role that's connected to what I really want to do, machine learning, right? So it's totally disconnected. So I don't know how were you able to find a way to connect your experience there? I don't know if I can mention the name of the place, but
I kind of
you
like
might.
know the place. You're talking about Assassin's
Okay,
Springs or Stack Sheets.
exactly, exactly. So I don't know, were you able to connect it to what you are currently doing, and how were you able to coin the story, maybe during interviews or whatever, to show the relevance? Yeah, thank you.
So there are always transferable skills everywhere. For example, what kind of role were you helping them source out talent for, right? So it's more like
Okay.
they are definitely transferable skills. So when I'm talking about the story, it depends on who I'm talking to. It's more like, can I work in a startup environment? Can I help you think about, like, maybe you want to hire like a PhD student, for example, in my lab, and I have an idea about regarding like recruiting. Can I just, there are definitely going to be transferable skills. I can't remember having to answer this specific question, but whenever if somebody asks me this question, what I'm just going to try to find is transferable skills between what I was doing and that. And I try to do some specific roles during my time and in Sourcing Spring that is more engineering like inclined. I mean, you might not get that because me probably an intern, but then I was like a graduate training and it was easier for me to work on a project that I really want to do. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So, yeah, we trust for engineering roles, so I will find the transferable skills. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you. So I think we can take two more questions, but they have to be short, so that we can take just one more question, I think, actually. So I think we can pick one from the chat. Okay, let's please, if you have more questions, maybe you can reach out on LinkedIn or in the community. Mohammed Abubakar is asking, I would like to ask what your opinions are about graduates who did most of their degree studies online, but from an accredited university. Do you think this will affect opportunities available to them as regarding graduate studies and funding? Yusuf Temitope, you want to answer that?
I don't know. It's not a yes or no. It's not a yes or no question. Overall, again, it's about like how are you telling your story and what's your profile overall? Why are you doing like an online degree? Why not a physical degree? Is there a background story to that? So if you tell, for example, I'll give an instance. Maybe I'm someone that I'm an orphan, I'm juggling like multiple jobs, but I'm really intentional about doing something AI. So I enrolled in like a school and I had to work every night, join my school every night, and then go to my work so I can sustain myself. That's a different story. But if I now come and tell you that, oh, my dad and my mom are alive, they're really, they are wealthy and they're okay. It's not like I'm suffering. I'm like, if you know, for example, why are you going to like without like any reason or something to justify going to the online school? Like your story has to fit. So it's not like it will affect, it will not affect. But if you now know that, oh, you can tell, even if it doesn't, just be able to tell your story such that the person reviewing your profile can be convinced that yes, this person is actually the right person that we need to get for this program.
Yeah, and you already mentioned that your university is accredited. So that's the biggest thing. It's not like you're just getting an online degree from somewhere that is not globally recognized. As long as your university is accredited, they can, if you want to do like transcript evaluation, you can easily evaluate your transcripts and the coursework requirements, matches, and everything. That should not affect your graduate studies and funding at all. It's mostly, do they have the money? How many people are they taking? It's like background stuff that would tie to you getting an admission or not, and that should not put you off. And yes, definitely, your story would help you write a good personal statement or a statement of purpose or something, and it would help you polish your profile even better. I see a quick question. I know you said one question. The person asking about grad student stipend. And I just quickly wanted to answer that. That's a really short answer.
Okay.
Depending on where you are applying to, I am in the US and I get my tuition is remitted. So like the school, either through teaching assistantship or research assistant research assistantship pays my tuition, so I don't have to pay my tuition. The second thing is I'm being paid. So if I'm teaching in a semester, they are paying me to teach them. And if I'm doing research with my advisor, I am also being paid. If I'm teaching, I still have to do my research anyway. So like I'm being paid like a stipend, like you mentioned. The also is that like you might in the US now, I'm in Indiana, which is like relatively low cost living. If I was in maybe California or in New York, it's more expensive there. So even if they are paying me that stipend, it might not be enough for me to like I can pay my rent because you can pay like your monthly bills and everything, but it might not be enough. There is also the case of black tax where people are calling you at home, you've left family and friends and you don't have that much. So there is that struggle, and I think I don't know about Rwanda, so I won't speak for Yusuf, but that's mostly like the struggle that you may not be earning enough. And when you compare to people that are working in better places, they might be earning more than you as like a PhD student or a master's student. So that's the question on the stipend thing.
Thank God for people like Ifeanyi in my life that is helping me.
Thank you. And also Yusuf is helping me here actually. Like when it comes to funds, he's the good person. Thank you so much.
Why did they lie?
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you, Temitope. It has really been a wonderful session. Sadly, we cannot take more questions because of time. I don't know if people that have questions maybe can reach out later. Yeah, we can. I want to go back to Michael.
All right. Thank you so much, Samuel. Thank you so much, Yusuf. And thank you very much, Team Dope. This was a very insightful session. In fact, my notes is filled up entirely. In fact, there are so many words, there's so many encouraging statements from both of you, to me and also everybody here that is also, considering pursuing or going for grad school. So, for everybody that joined this call, thank you so much as well. So we are Machine Learning Lagos. For those that asked, what group is this? If you are just joining us for the first time, this is Machine Learning Lagos. So we're a community of people that are interested in machine learning, AI, and at the beginning of this call, Samuel went through all the things that we offer. We have technical events, workshop, we have study groups, we have project demo, networking opportunities, and other things that we offer to strengthen your so that you can grow as an ML engineer. So if you want to join our community, if you're interested in ML or AI, or you just want to know what is going on there, even though you're not technical, you can join our community. I dropped the link to our website on the chat. So if you just want to join our community, let me also pin it so you can see. Also, you can also follow us on X and LinkedIn at ML Lagos and Machine Learning Lagos. And this month, we have very interesting lineup of events that are upcoming. Like I said earlier on at the beginning of this call, the ML Lagos is going to be happening throughout weekly, throughout this month. So we have a week 2 panel, we also have week 3 panel, and we have week 4 panel happening Sunday at the same time, 5 p.m. WAT. For our brethren that are not in Nigeria, if you want to join, the time is 5 p.m. West African time. So please join us for our next session next week. And also we have our office hour coming up this same month. The dates would also be communicated as time goes on. And our technical session, our monthly technical session, where we have like a very amazing AI experts to walk us through something interesting something interesting and interesting field in AI and ML. So also we also appreciate feedback. This helps us grow as a community. So if you want to, if you have any things you'd like to share, any feedback you want to give to us, we appreciate if you can send a message, or you can fill this feedback form. I would also drop it on the chat. And that's basically all. The time is a bit fast spent, but we want to thank you all for joining this call. Thank you so much for joining. I hope we all learned so much through this session. And thank you so much for our speakers and panelists for this amazing session. The feedback form is on the chat. So if you want to share feedback. Other than that, thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you all. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Yes, sir.